And that is a live stream initiated for the YouTube.
YouTube. This is your private little. This is
This
us.
is it.
This is it. This is just on YouTube. Right. So in a second, Big Z is actually going to show a screen. Okay. And this is very important. Don't miss this, YouTube.
Very.
You gotta hit that subscribe button. Okay. I know Big Z's good looking. I'm kind of ugly, but if you can look past that and hit that subscribe button, you'd be doing us a favor. And here's what I promise you. If you do that, I will continue to be just absolutely ridiculous as we move forward, right? Because if you've listened to my takes, especially my playoff takes, you realize the ridiculousness of them because Big Z absolutely whomped me. And we're talking about that in the episode, but hit subscribe, jump in there, Brevity Sports, and then do us a favor, tell one of your friends,
Please
at least
tell one of your friends. Tell like two of your friends and one of your family members. That'd be great.
And maybe they don't like us, and they'll laugh at you. Like, why do you even listen to those guys? And then it's just a fun conversation because now you can make fun of us, which is always great. Like when you're bonding over making fun of another person, right? Like there's bonding moments there.
Because they're easy to laugh at.
Right. And we don't mind.
Awesome.
And in this scenario, you're fine. You don't have to even consider yourself a bad person. Like, we accept it. Just talk about us.
Look at this guy. He's changing his light. Oh, that's a funny guy. look, that's awesome. But yeah, laugh at us.
Or one of us is a pool guy.
You can be mad at us.
Look at that.
You can tell us about that. That's okay.
You see that?
You can agree with us. Whatever you want.
Chlorine is supposed to get in pools, and here it is on my sweater. Explain to me that. Explain to me how I got chlorine that's supposed to be in a pool on my sweater. These are things to laugh at. So there you go. Hit that subscribe button. We're Brevity Sports. We're going to go ahead and jump on El podcast now so everybody can jump in. Basically going to start that in just a second.
Let's go. And here is our awesome intro. Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's get it. We love it. We love it. We love it. We are back. It is the Brevity Sports crew. It is myself, Fredo, as always. And of course, I'm joined by Zach, my boy, Big Z. What's up, Zach? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm good. I am pumped because you see that? You see my Niners? You see what they did? They came back. They did it. They won. Brock Purdy is the man. I'm pumped, as you can tell. So
you should be pumped. You should be pumped. Super Bowls, as like a Rams fan, right, who recently saw my team win a Super Bowl, I realize how rare it is, right? Because rare. Even the year we won the Super Bowl, we were not the best football team, right? We weren't the best football team all year. And then we actually brought, oh my God, I just blanked on his name. Jason the Showman Storm's going to kill me. We brought that safety out at Weddle. We brought Weddle out of retirement. And he solved the defensive puzzle.
Right.
That helped us win the Super Bowl. So it just shows you you have to catch that magic at the right time. Right. That's how difficult it is to win the Super Bowl. Before we get there, Big Z, we got to start off, let the people in, man. What was your last weekend like? Talk to me.
Sunday was full of emotion,
joy,
joy,
ups and downs, if you will.
Yeah, you could say ups and downs.
Valleys.
At halftime, it was just dread. And obviously after that, it was just pure ecstatic joy. Saturday was fun, man. We went out to the Anaheim Packing District. Me, Oliver, Haley. We met some friends over there.
Wow.
They have a cool place to run around I say for Oliver, but also for myself.
Boy.
Yeah, we were. It was the first time. There's a little grass hill, and Oliver was. I was teaching him how to slide down it on his butt, and so we were doing it together. And he, that's the first time he ever did that. And so he was having the time of his life.
So the next day, were you reminded that you're no longer 10 years old? When you woke up and your butt was hurt for no reason, you were like, wait a minute, what have I done? What have I done
to myself? I can't recover. recover.
This is no longer a fun thing for me to do. Every once in a while, I show my boys to do something. I'm like, yeah, this is how you do this random, okay, I'll give you a great example. The other day, my niece was over and we wanted to jump rope, right? We want to jump rope. And dude, and this is not the other day. This is I'm so bad at that. I don't know who's listening to this podcast. I'm so bad at this. I will say the other day if something was 2 years ago. And so this story is 2 years old. And we're jumping rope.
Now a full-fledged adult.
Yeah, she's the same grade as Grayson, which means she's third grade. I'm not a terrible uncle. I know what grade she's in. This is like maybe she's in kindergarten. This is like maybe 30 years ago. But
Wow.
we're like jumping rope, and I'm like, this is no longer easy. Like I
Bro,
remember as a child
it's hard, man.
that like jumping rope was fun. Like it was a fun activity. And here we
Yeah.
are. It's actually kind of rough. But anyway, so Saturday, you're teaching them how
Yeah.
to slide, having a
Teach
blast.
them how to slide down the hill. That was
Yeah.
just a fun time as a dad, to do that with your son. So that was good, man. What else did I do? I don't know. It was a pretty chill weekend. Beyond that, how about
Yeah.
you? I know you had a stressful weekend. You had some baseball
You
stuff going on.
know, it's stressful in a way of like
Good stress,
I
but it's still
invited it. Right.
stressful.
I invited it. Like I
Right.
had a couple people tell me like, you chose this. And I'm like, I did. Because so those of you who don't know, my sons are in baseball. I joined the board. I just felt like, my input could help. And more than that, I just wanted to help with whatever they needed. And so there's a lot of decisions to be made. And this is why I joined. So was it stressful? Yes. Did I take a ton of calls and messages? Yes. And, I used to have a pretty stressful job. I no longer have what I would call a very stressful job, but I will say this stress was different. It was stressful in the way that I want it to be stressful because you really were thinking about like what is best for these kids? Like what is the fairest, best way to make a decision here
Yeah.
to try to hopefully mitigate as many hurt feelings and as many, just an emphasis on being fair. And there's always going to be people who like it. There's going to be people who don't like it. It's just sort of it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we put the coaches in a room. We were able to all come to agreements, and it was great. So we got a couple drafts done. The league is doing great. We have more kids in than we've ever had. A lot of people want to play. It's awesome just seeing you and me, we love baseball. And so it starts here. It starts really with the growth of Little League that leads to more ball players, and we love it. A lot of these kids will never get to that level, but that's fine. Just get out there, have some fun, have some competition. There's a lot of people who say like, oh, we got to take competition out. No, like competition's fun.
Yeah, you want,
It's fun, get out there and have fun. Try to, I was talking to my kids today. I took them to pitching lessons and I was telling my son, my younger guy, he gets distracted a little bit. And I was like, hey buddy, like, I know it's easy to get distracted to lessons, but the reason we do lessons, and this is about life, is that when the game comes, like when it matters, you're going to be in a better position to succeed. And that's fun. Like, is it more fun to strike people out or is it more fun to give up home runs? And he's like, oh, to strike people out. I'm like, exactly. Like you want to so let's focus now so we can
Yoda
have fun,
here.
you know,
Master Yoda right here, man.
That you got to do it. Well, you got to, because also the other thing is I want to teach that hard work. We talked about it here on this podcast before.
Yeah.
Whereas, when I was growing up and I was like trimming trees and doing all that stuff, like I don't have trees for them like my parents did for them to trim. So I'm trying to teach them some of that hard work via like baseball, right? Like I want them to learn that hard work through things that hopefully they enjoy. That's just something we're trying to do. But yeah, so no, it's a good weekend. Actually, we got to go with a couple friends. He has like a box at the, we live right next to the Ontario. I don't know what it's called, but the Ontario Reign play there. A soccer team plays there. Pretty cool. So there's an indoor national soccer league. I didn't even know this was a thing.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you know that was a thing?
No, I had no clue. I had no clue that existed.
Like a legit thing, like a
That's
legit thing. Like a team came from like St. Louis. It was crazy.
Wow.
So there's like teams that fly. So
What?
yeah, I had no idea. So this team came out and we won. It was a nail biter. Like we went up like 5-2. And I was like, oh man, we're like walking. And then all of a sudden they took the lead. So get this, it's indoor soccer. So it's like hockey in that they pull their goalie. So our team pulled the goalie to get a guy up and scored with like 5 seconds left.
That's sick.
And then they won in overtime. So like all the kids were getting crazy. Everybody's getting hyped, and we're just having a good time. All the kids are there, just like all friends. And then, on the TV, we got the crazy Lions-Niners game going, which we're going to talk about in a second. But yeah, man, overall, it was a good weekend. But you know what, dude? Let's get into it. Let's give the people what they want. This is called Brevity Sports. And of course, we never keep it brevity. That's our vow to you.
That's the
never will
thing.
happen.
We won't. But
never.
You like it. You guys like it.
You guys like it.
Don't lie to yourselves.
Come on. Come on.
Stop it. Stop it.
So we're going to save your game for last because that 100%, it was also the order in which these games were played. But even if it was switched, I would make you wait to talk about the Niners because I know how excited you are. So you're going to bring that absolute fire and excitement. So we won't start there. Instead, we'll talk about Patrick Mahomes just being Patrick Mahomes. I mean, going into, I just don't even know what to say at this point. It goes to Baltimore. Right, you got Lamar Jackson, the for all intents and purposes, the MVP of the league.
Yep.
Dude is unstoppable. This team went to San Francisco and balled. Like like this is a certified great team. Patrick Mahomes goes in there with the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce just continues to ball, just is having an all-time playoff experience, and they get that W, man. Were you able to watch some of that game?
A little bit. On the way home, I was at a family event. But on my way home from that, it was,
Yeah.
watched some highlights and stuff. I just know that it's important for your guys to score first. And the fact that Patrick Mahomes did on the first 2 drives was super impressive to me. Like
Yeah.
that's just Patrick Mahomes at his finest. Like he's been there, he's done that.
Right.
Now he's won on the road. He won last week in Buffalo. And he was like, you know what? Like, I know what I need to do. I know the poise I need to have on this field, and I'm
Right.
going to lead my team down. And we were kind of talking about like, hey, if this is Josh Allen's, like, this is Josh Allen's chance. This is Lamar Jackson's chance, like, because the Chiefs are so off this year. Like, this is the version of the Chiefs that you can actually one up. And we're like, because the Chiefs, they can't just turn it on, right? Like, there's no way. Like, they've been playing 17 games, kind of mediocre.
Man.
No, they turn it on, bro. Like, Kelce, he went back to form. He had 11 catches for 116 yards, dude. Like, that is vintage Travis Kelce. We were talking about him like retiring after this year. And now it's like, I guess he can play. I guess he can still play at that level.
Right.
And it was just an amazing thing to watch. Mahomes just finding him, like, he was so covered on some third downs, and the way that it's just between Kelce and Mahomes, like, that connection is so, like, you just don't see that anywhere else. Like, he just knows where to throw it, and Kelce is always there, man. It's insane to me. It's
I have to say, in this moment, one of the things that came to mind was when we discussed it on a podcast a while ago. I obviously listen to New Heights every week. I love their podcast. Right. I loved it before Taylor Swift. Not that I mind it anymore. Taylor Swift, I think it's awesome. That storyline, I have no qualms with. I think it's fantastic to watch. One of the most successful tight ends of all time. Date one of, like, the unarguably the most famous person on the planet right now. Like, she's right. Taylor Swift is just in a league of her own. But again, he talked about, if everybody knew, I think the quote was, I don't want to misquote him, but it was something the emphasis of, if everyone knew the injuries that the average NFL player was carrying,
man.
They, like, he was basically emphasizing. And at the time I was like, is he talking about him? I have to wonder if Travis Kelce was carrying an injury all year long, maybe that knee that we had heard about.
Has to be.
And right now, all of a sudden, he's coming back to 100%, because the Travis Kelce we're seeing right now is just not the Travis Kelce we saw. His ability to separate, his ability to accelerate. Right now, again, he looks like the best tight end in the game, period.
Right. Yeah,
period. But that's not who we saw. That's not what we've seen.
All season. And then the playoffs turn around. It's like, let's flip on that switch. So
just did it.
Yeah, man. So just greatness. Go a B, go 1A, 1B, whatever. Patrick Mahomes.
He's in the conversation for sure.
Brady is the GOAT to me,
right?
But yeah, he's getting there now. Like, he's compiling playoff wins. He has 14 of them now, right?
Right.
But shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs defense.
100%.
This is something that we have never seen from this team before. Ever since Mahomes came into the league, they've always had an average at best defense. Now they have a very good defense. I wouldn't call them elite, but they have a very great defense. Shout out to Steve Spagnuolo for calling a great game and being able to shut down Lamar Jackson, making him fumble twice, and throw an interception. He looked lost. He really looked like he just came in the league. Like, it was his first playoff game. He really did. So shout out to them, man. And on the other side, for the Ravens, they have some growing up to do. Zay Flowers,
100%.
What a dumb penalty. The taunting penalty that, cost them the game at this point, because
a lot of people are saying, like, oh, let him taunt. Like, it wasn't just one thing.
No,
if he just gets up and stands over him, they probably don't throw the flag. Right. And then if he, like, flexes on him, they probably don't throw the flag. And then if he yells at him, they probably don't throw the flag. But then when you do all those things and spin the ball at him, which we all know, throwing the ball at somebody, you get flagged all the time.
It's just
everybody. It's just, whether or not you agree with it, the point is, it's been called that way. Kelce, again, Jason was talking about, he threw a ball at somebody and he was called for it. Like, this is not a new rule, whether or not you agree with it.
Yeah. And he'll learn from that. Like, like, he probably came out like, publicly and like, oh, it's fine. Like,
Right.
I'm going to keep doing, but like, in that locker room, that's where Lamar Jackson needs to come over to him. And I'm sure he did. And be like, hey man, like it's cool, but let's learn from that. Let's move on. But when it comes to Lamar Jackson, man, this hurts his legacy, dude. Like we were talking about, this is his year to like he's gonna win the MVP, but he needs to get at least to the Super Bowl. He needs
Right.
to win the AFC. All the cards were stacked in his favor.
Right.
He had home field advantage. He was the number one seed. He had the extra week of rest. His whole team had the extra week of
Right.
rest, and he still looked the way he did. This is the one knock that's Lamar, that's on Dak. They're both 2-4 in the playoffs in their
Right.
careers. They just can't do it. And that, especially that pick that Lamar threw towards the end of the game with triple coverage, like, come on. Lamar.
Was it pass interference? Maybe. Was that pass interference? Was he ever going to catch that ball? No.
No. And so like Lamar, that's the knock on him. Like
right.
Before this season, we're like, can he beat you if he's a pocket passer?
Right.
I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. So we'll see. We will see. But this just shows the greatness of Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs defense and that Chiefs system and Andy Reid.
Look, Lamar Jackson has had a great year, but when you're talking about the elite in the game, that comes down to the playoffs. It's a different conversation. So, like, don't hear us saying Lamar Jackson is not a legitimate starter. He's a top 5 quarterback in the league today. Like, nobody's arguing that point. What we're saying is you need a guy that can get you over a hump. You need a guy that can get you to W when the game is on the line. And for me, when the Chiefs come out, they score right away, right? They have the confidence to say, no, we're going to defer to the second half, right? We're deferring. No, you get the ball and we're going to stop you. And then we're going to score. And that's what they did. That was wild to me. I thought for sure they would take the ball. The announcers were talking about it. No, I can't believe they didn't take the ball. You think they take the ball, but they didn't. They had the confidence in their defense, like you said. Huge shout out to Spags. Like, that dude is wild. I call him Spags because that's what the Kelsey brothers call him. I don't know if he's cool with that. It is what it is. Listen, at the end of the day, it was wild to watch this Kansas City defense ball. They did great. Chris obviously is like, he's having a year of years. It's going to be a great game next week. I'll tell you that. But I will say, Lamar Jackson throwing that self-catch, there's moments, and we're going to talk about in the next game, that's a very similar moment. There's moments in games where you can sort of feel the momentum shifting. And when Lamar Jackson tossed that ball, caught it himself, I said, oh, here they go. This is the play that's going to get them right. Shout out to Kansas City Chiefs. They did not allow that to happen. Like, that was a lucky play. Let's shake it off. It's the only way they're moving the ball. We're going to stand up. We're going to be here. I hear a lot about the Baltimore fans complaining about the refs. They cheated, rigged, all this stuff. There was one egregious call that probably should have been called. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you right now, Baltimore. I think if the ball is in the vicinity, is more in the area, when Lamar throws that ball away, I mean, that's probably why this wasn't called. Okay.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it should have been called at the very least 5 yards, first down. I agree with you with that. But there's calls every game that they're going to miss. And again, like Big Z said, the real reason they lost this game, dumb taunting penalties, dumb late hits, the hit on Patrick Mahomes. We were literally texting about it, Big Z. I'm like, my initial reaction was like, what the heck? You can't call that. And then they showed a replay and I literally went, never mind, lol, my bad, sorry. That was a for sure roughing. You cannot lower your helmet. You cannot hit a quarterback in the head. This is not
today's NFL.
New.
It's not the 80s, man.
Come on, man. You cannot do it.
You know the rules.
You know it. And if you're going to do it, just shove him. They were shoving Patrick Mahomes all day. You saw him getting frustrated looking at the refs, and the refs were like, no, dude, you were running or you just threw it. They shoved you. It's football. If you just shove him, I think you make your point that, hey, I was right there, baby. I was ready to lay the smack down on you. And, you barely got it off. You want to talk about why you lost the game? It was those penalties. It's
got to grow up. Unfortunately,
it's Flowers. I agree with everybody else. I think Flowers, including Flowers himself, I think he's going to be a great receiver in this league. But like you said, he's got to grow up. You cannot, I get it. You want to score a touchdown. You want to make the big play. But how many times have I heard coaches and NFL players, you cannot reach. You cannot reach because the safeties in this league are too good and too fast. And that's exactly what Kansas City's defense showed you. They made a big play on a ball. That was really, to me, that was the nail in the coffin. When they punched that ball out, I was like, that's it. It doesn't matter what happens from here on in. That's it. That's all that matters. And again, to Lamar Jackson, if you're trying to put away the critics, if you're trying to put away the haters, this is the kind of game you got to find a way to win. right?
Yep.
Like, let's be honest, it still was not a blowout, right? It was a lot closer. They were in this game,
Shout out to their defense. I mean,
right?
like get some dumb penalties, but like they held Mahomes to only 69 yards in the second half. Like
Right.
Mahomes did not have a good second half. Like
They did not
people forget
score.
about that. Yeah, they
Right.
did not
They didn't
score.
score in the third and the fourth.
So
They
like
win this
shout out to
game
their
17 to
defense.
10.
And
This
it
is
was
yeah.
Lamar, like that's when you got to take it.
Yep.
Like that's the difference between you and Pat right there. Like Patrick Mahomes takes advantage of those moments.
Right.
Like
And I will say
you didn't.
I do agree. You know, we poop on ESPN all the time. So every once in a while, I'll give him some credit. I heard one of the ESPN analysts saying, like, can we just stop like comparing people to Patrick Mahomes? And I actually agree with this take. I'm like, we got to stop. Like right now in the league, there's nobody that compares to Patrick Mahomes. There's Patrick Mahomes and there's everybody else. If you're going to compare Patrick Mahomes to anybody else, now at this point, you're comparing him to Montana and Tom Brady. Like that is the class of athlete that he is chasing now. Joe Burrow's not better. Justin Herbert's not better. Josh Allen isn't better. Lamar Jackson isn't better. None of these guys are in that class. None of them. Okay. There's Patrick and there's everybody else. Even if you beat him next year, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you beat him next year. Right. He's already in a class above you. This is the same way when we're talking about legacy. The same reason that people aren't ready to put him in that Tom Brady category. Because why? Mahomes, he's lost 2 playoff games. Who are they to? They're to the GOAT. They're to the GOAT. They're to Tom Brady. He got it done. This is your moment. If you want to be Patrick Mahomes, if you want to be considered the GOAT, if you want to be that dude that deserves 200 XM million, 300 million, 400 million, this is the dude you got to beat. This is the standard quarterback. Because right now, if I'm an NFL team, I'm looking at any quarterback who knocks on my door. Hey, I want to get paid. Dude, look at Patrick Mahomes. Are you Patrick Mahomes? I'll answer for you. No, you're not. I'm not paying you Patrick Mahomes money. Get out of my office. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because there's one Patrick Mahomes in this league and then everybody else. And that's no disrespect. I'm not trying to disrespect all. Like, that is just a testament to his greatness. I think there's great QBs in the NFL as we speak. Yeah. We talk about them all the time. Patrick Mahomes on a different level. He won this game. He's going to another freaking Super Bowl. I think somebody said he's been in the league 6 years and this is going to be his 5th time going to a Super Bowl. Yep. I mean, this is crazy, right? This is absolutely insane. Tom Brady stopped him with the Patriots and then beat him with the Bucks. I mean, this is wild. This is absolutely nuts. He's going back, and the Niners are going to have to do what only the GOAT has done so far, which is stop Patrick Mahomes.
I think Burrow beat him one year.
Burrow beat him. Yeah, that's right. You're right. When they played the Rams. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
He beat him in Arrowhead. So,
and I'm not going to lie to you.
And I'm not saying that Burrow is better than him. I'm just saying,
it's important. It's important. It's important to get it right. It's important to get it right.
Yeah,
put on the resume, bro. Yeah. You got to do it.
Good. Yeah.
I will say, as a Rams fan, when Patrick Mahomes lost that game, a big part of me was like, let's go. We're in with a chance because I did not want to play. I do not want to play Mahomes.
Oh, you're so
lucky. That's Super Bowl.
Oh, you almost lost that. You were
so close. You know who gets away? You know who gets away from? Well, do you know who gets away from Aaron Donald? Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes breaks the tackle, dude. You know what I mean? Right. Like, that's the problem. It's like Joe Burrow, he kind of sat there. And Aaron Donald's like, I got you, fam. Mahomes is like, he's rolling out right, running like freaking Jack Sparrow, just doing his thing down the sideline for no reason. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah, shout out to Joe Burrow, though. That's right. They tried to call it Burrowhead, which that's pretty much done. That's pretty much
since then, it's like downhill.
It's not even if Burrow goes in there and dominates, like, I'm sorry, like, you got to put some respect on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, they're the closest thing to a dynasty right now. They're already a dynasty. Let's be honest. I mean,
yeah, they are. It is
what it is.
No question about it. They're
as long as Andrew Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce are breathing, and even like Travis Kelce, at this point, you really feel like if Travis Kelce, don't get me wrong, he's a big part of this offense. I think they want him to stay around another year or two. He's a big part of this offense, but really, you got to feel like if you got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna compete.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Moving right along. Let's get to your game, Big Z. Let's get to your shining beacon, your moment, Big Z. The Niners are playing in the NFC Championship game. This game, let me just start off by saying this game to everybody outside of the Niners organization, even if you're not a Niners fan, I think the heaviness of this game, like Lions fans, I felt like coming in, there was not nearly as much pressure on the Lions as there was the Niners coming into this game. The Lions, it was like, hey, you guys had a great run. Nobody saw this coming from you. You did it. We
Yeah.
all thought you were good. Nobody thought you were going to get this far. You did it. Great job. You know, you escaped the Rams by 1 point. You put it on the Buccaneers towards the end of the game. You're still rolling. You're doing it. You know, like this was a great season.
Even if you lose 50-0, like you're going to be good.
Detroit
like,
saw two playoff, not one, but 2 playoff wins. I mean, absolutely insane. Like this was, no matter what, this was still a great year for you. But on the Niners side, it was like Shanahan. What is the one critique of Kyle Shanahan? Can he win the big games?
Right.
And behind that, can he win when coming from behind? And the answer to both is yes, unequivocally yes.
2 weeks in a row.
Of course, he's got to be able to. If you're Shanahan, you got to get the Super Bowl done.
Of course,
you got to get the Super Bowl done. But walk me through your emotions. I feel like, dude,
man. I mean, we were texting. Dude. It's a pretty low point for me. I mean, I haven't felt like this since in that sports emotion for the 49ers. I haven't felt like that since 2012 when the last time they came back from 17 points down in an NFC Championship game and beat the Falcons.
Right.
So shout out to that. But man, what a game, dude. Like so many boxes were checked off the list in these last 2 playoff games for Shanahan, for Purdy, for all these guys that so many people doubted, and it made me so happy.
Yep.
And Brock Purdy, dude, like, he's not Josh Allen, he's not Lamar Jackson, he's not Patrick Mahomes.
No.
He's not that type of quarterback, but what he is he's a winner. He's a dog. He's going to find a way to get the guys involved and get his playmakers the ball. And if
100%.
they're not open, he's going to make it happen.
Yep.
He's going to take control of the game and he's going to do it. He's going to get those first downs. There was this 2 21-yard rushes that surprised me. Like those were his longest rushes of the year.
Nobody saw it coming. No one.
There were so many other times where he evaded like 2 or 3 linemen. Like they had him, like the Lions, they had their claws on him and ready to just eat him, put them in their cave and eat him. And he evaded them. He slipped out from under them, did some swim moves, and was able to find his guys, whether it was 5 yards down the field, 15 yards down the field, 10 yards down the field, whatever he had to do, he did it. Right. I was listening to on Friday, I was going to the office and I was listening to a national ESPN radio show in the morning. And one guy was just doubting the heck out of Purdy. And he was begging people, asking them, what is the difference between Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo? And I said, this is case in point, the difference between those two. Jimmy G would never have done that.
No.
He would have never been able to. He's a statue in the park. I love Jimmy G. I love what he did. He brought us back to relevancy. But Jimmy G was, I'm going to stay here in the pocket, and I'm going to throw 5 to 10 yard dots, and that's it. That's all I can do. Brock Purdy has so much more of a game and of a handle on that quarterback position, and he does a great job at it. So that's number one. The defense in the second half, they're the ones that they stepped up to. They were making they were stripping the ball from Jahmyr Gibbs. They finally stopped the Lions. They finally got pressure on Jared Goff. Nick Bosa finally got a couple sacks. That was also a momentum changer. And then thirdly, Brandon Ayuk, man, that catch. And a lot of people are, saying that all the Niners got lucky. Okay, fine. Luck. This is what happens in football.
No, don't give him that. Don't give him that.
This is what happens. Like,
no, don't give him that.
But my rebuttal to that is like, well, in the Kansas City Bills game, the Bills missed a field goal too. That's lucky too. Like, it's like this happens in football. What an amazing catch by Brandon Ayuk.
Let me just say real quick, and then I'm going to keep you keep going because I love where your energy's at. But I got to say this right now to anybody listening to this podcast: do not give them that. Okay, as a quarterback, as an elite quarterback in this league, you know what you do when the game's on the line, when you need a W, you get the ball to your best wide receiver. And I'm not Deebo Samuel is a great wide receiver, but he also can be a running back. That's not what I'm arguing right now. What I'm arguing is you give an opportunity. If your guy is one-on-one, you throw that ball down the field and give him an opportunity. Anybody sitting here saying that's lucky, that's not lucky. What Brock Purdy's saying is, Ayuk, you're my boy. We got trust right here. I believe in you. I'm going to put this ball. You're not open. You're not open. I'm going to put this ball up and you go get it. That's what the coach do. Go watch film of Tom Brady. Freaking nobody's open, puts it up. Rob Gronkowski goes to get it. In fact, one of the ways that they lost the Eagles, he tried to do it. And unfortunately, wow, Gronkowski wasn't able to come down with it, right? Like it goes both ways. So I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
No,
I don't want to hear about luck. Okay, that's what elite quarterbacks do in the big moments. You cannot be scared to throw an interception. You're already losing the game. Right. At that point, like I've heard this argument, you can hear the frustration in my voice. You hear this like dumb argument. They're losing by 14 people in the second half. At some point, you got to take a shot.
Gotta let it go.
At some point, you got to throw it down the field. He sees his boy Ayuk streaking down the field one-on-one all day. I'm fine with it. Throw that ball. Let's see what happens. And that's what happened. Ayuk came down with the ball. That's all we saw. We don't fault. We call Edelman one of the greatest catches of all time. It was nicked by like 3 Falcons players, and then Edelman barely got his hand. That's what you do as an elite quarterback. Continue, Big Z. I apologize.
Exactly. No, I love the love. I love the support for Purdy. And he was actually talking about that after the game. He said, I knew I needed to take a shot at some point. Exactly what you said. And I saw him one-on-one. That wasn't my first read. That wasn't my second or third. That was my fourth read. But I saw him. I was going to put it up for my guy. Like, BA is that guy. And I knew he can go get it, like 100%. Regardless of it. So that's confidence. That's what you want your quarterback to do. Jimmy G would never have done that.
Nope.
Right. And I've seen so many things. This, the narrative about, when Brock Purdy was just slipping out of sacks and stuff and making great plays, and people are just like, oh, that's lucky. But like Patrick Mahomes did the exact same thing on Sunday, and it was considered greatness. It was complete greatness. Lamar Jackson does that. It's elite. We have to start putting some of these titles now on Brock Purdy. And again, I'm not saying that he is as good as Pat, as good as Lamar, as good as Josh, but you have to start giving him his flowers.
He was better that day. He's better that day.
And he's the last two standing. He's one of the last two standing. So
he was better than Lamar.
There it is.
He's better than Lamar.
And the Niners are going to Super Bowl for the second time in 5 years. Good for them. Good for Kyle.
He put up 34.
Just saying you can't do that. You can't start like that again against Patrick Mahomes because he will take advantage of it. Yep. But I have to give it to him. Like the way they came back, they had to score every single possession in the second half. They did. They had to make plays. They forced 3 turnovers. And shout out to the Lions. Shout out to Jared Goff. Like Jared Goff didn't have a bad game. I wouldn't say he lost in the game.
Nope.
And his teammates kind of let him down. But shout out to the Lions and that organization and Dan Campbell for everything that they did.
Great job. Great game. I agree with everything you just said. Let me just start right there. Last point. I'm just going to answer that. I agree. Let me be clear. I agree that Jared Goff did not lose this game. 100%. He had a fantastic game. He had a great game. That is exact. I'm glad you saw where it's going. He also did not win this game. And that's where everybody comparing him to Matt Stafford. No. A Matt Stafford, a Brock Purdy. Yes, I'm putting him in that category. These dudes go out and win the game. They don't care about interceptions. They don't care about playing it safe. For all the Lions fans, we heard it even in our text group. Oh, well, if Goff's receivers didn't hate him so much, they weren't dropping the ball. I'm sorry. 3rd down, 4th down. Why are you throwing the ball to Josh Reynolds? Right. I get that that's the read that he's open, but you got Amon-Ra St. Brown. That is your dog. That is your dude. That is your boy.
Because people will be, he just has weapons.
Right.
That boy is good. No, throw it to your weapons. Be a smart quarterback.
In the big moments, on the big stages, let your big stars be stars. He said it before the game himself. Amon-Ra St. Brown, when he got offended that the reporter said, the Niners got a lot of stars over there too. And he go, Amon-Ra's first Pro Bowl. And I agree. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the elite receivers in the game. You forced the ball to him against the Rams. You forced the ball to him against the Buccaneers. Force the ball to him against the Niners. Get him the ball. Force that ball in there. Draw up a play. It cannot be Josh Reynolds. And I know that as a former Rams fan, this is Josh Reynolds. When I was watching him ball and catch everything that touched his gloves, I was like, that's not Josh Reynolds. Like I saw him play for the Rams. I saw the drops. You've seen the drops. You were the Niners. Right. You saw the drops. Right. Like when he dropped those balls, I was like, that's Josh Reynolds. I'm not trying to say he's not a good receiver. All I'm trying to say is he's not one of the elite receivers in the game. He is exactly what he is, a 3rd or a 4th option, possibly a number 2, depending on what team he goes to, but he is nowhere near Amon-Ra St. Brown. So the idea that you want me to feel bad for you because Josh Reynolds dropped the ball when you got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta running on the same field, I'm not going to feel bad for you. You need to hit your stars in those big moments. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. I've heard that excuse way too much. Listen, Jared Goff, he had a great game. I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't. He had a great game. But this is what Jared Goff is. He only had 7 points in the second half. When momentum was switching, he came out, threw some questionable passes, made some questionable decisions. We saw it against the Buccaneers. He got away with it. We saw it against the Rams. He got away with it. The Niners did not let him get away with it. And what did the Niners do? Regardless of how you feel about Jared Goff, the Lions, don't get me wrong, I think you got to re-sign Jared Goff. Not re-sign it, but I think you got to let him be the guy. Let him be the guy for the next couple of years. He's earned that. I'm not in any way making that argument. I think he is a good starting quarterback. I think he's a starting quarterback of the Lions. Will he get it done for you? I don't know. I think with Jahmyr Gibbs, is pretty freaking special. He proved that. You give him a little bit and he will just take it. He will take it and run. But listen, Jared Goff, in those big moments, you've got to get the ball to your star receivers. You've got to find a way to get that W. You've got to find a way to get this thing done. 7 points in the second half. Listen, momentum is switching. Take a shot. Do something. Do anything. That I will say that's it. I'm not going to hate on Jared Goff. I don't want anybody to think I'm hating on Jared Goff. I just wanted to be clear. Jared Goff did not lose this game. He also did not win this game. That to me as a Rams fan, I just had to clarify that's the difference for me between Matt Stafford and Jared Goff. I think Matt Stafford goes out, wins the game. And if he throws an interception, who cares? We've all seen him do it a bunch of times. Everybody else talks about, well, Matt Stafford's interception prone. That's because he's not going to go down without a fight. If that means he throws 3 picks, he throws 3 picks. He doesn't care about that. He's not worried.
Yeah,
he's not scared. He ain't worried. Listen, Jahmyr Gibbs is special. Lions fans, you're going to have to figure that out next year. 50-50 minimum. Jahmyr Gibbs needs to touch the ball. I mean, look, when the Niners decided to stop the run, that was really it. When they said, Jared Goff, you're going to have to beat us, Jared Goff couldn't do it, right? That's the bottom line. Second half, the Niners came out and said, Jared Goff, you're going to have to be the one because we are stopping the Gibbs. We are stopping Montgomery. I forgot the stat, but there was not very many rushing yards in the second half. There was almost nothing. Okay. Yeah. So the Niners came out and said, nope, we're done with Montgomery. We're done with Gibbs. In fact, we're going to force it. We're going to force a fumble on a Gibbs who's actually been very safe with the ball all year long. He's been a great running back. He has not had that.
He lined up wrong. He thought it was another play, actually. So he actually lined up on the wrong side of Goff, like behind him. He thought it was the wrong play. And so when Goff went to hand it off to him, Goff was going towards him instead of going the other way, right? Because like into him. And so he kind of tripped a little bit. And that's what kind of made him stop for a second. And that's when the Niners pounced on him and stripped the ball. So to that, I say that's a rookie thing. Like, you you gotta listen.
You know what I say
or
that?
Ask.
You know what I say to that, BG?
Like what was that play again?
Like you know what I say to that?
What?
Remember earlier in the season when we were telling you need to get Gibbs the rock more and not just wait till the NFC Championship to get him the ball?
Not enough reps.
Not enough reps. We sat here. We said this. You cannot wait till the playoffs to unleash Gibbs. Dude, listen to this podcast, okay? It's all there. The history. Keep the receipts, people. We told you. Do not wait for the big moments to use Gibbs. And here it is. Who knows how many times he's got to run this package. And if it's a lot, whatever, then you get to be right. But again, this is why you don't want to save your rookies until the playoffs, right? Exactly. Was he used once Montgomery went down? Yes, but go back, look at the video. Before Montgomery went down, he was hardly being used. When Montgomery got back, it was a pretty even split, okay? Right. So I don't want to hear about, dude, get him on the field. You want to use him in the big games, let him be your big game guy. Let him be your big moment guy. So that's what I got to say to that. I'm not going to lie. Listen, the Niners, Brock Purdy, we're done with it now, right? Like, let me just say, if you're hating on Brock Purdy, we're done with that now. Okay?
I hope so. I mean, there's still some people. There's still some people out there.
There's people who could see him going out to losing to Patty Mahomes and talking about like, see, he couldn't get it done. This is his second year in the league. This isn't Jared Goff. Everybody hearing me make that argument about Jared Goff. Jared Goff been in the league for like 7-8 years.
Let's just remember that he has as many playoff wins now as Dak and Lamar combined. So let's just remember that.
Exactly. Exactly. So again, the concept is you've got to understand this guy is still so new to the league. Period. Okay. This guy's a dog. I love everything I saw from him. The scrambles, the big moments. It was not too big for him. He just continued to make plays. That was redundant. I realize that continued, but he made plays. He was rushing the ball, rolling out left, hitting use check on a massive dude. If anybody else makes that play, it's like all over Sports Center. This guy had an amazing game. He accounted for over 70% of the team's offense or something like that. So I don't hear nothing from nobody. But I got to ask you this, Big Z.
Yeah.
I got to ask you. Dan Campbell,
Yeah.
what do you think about him going for it? Fourth down. What do you think?
I've gone back and forth. Obviously, I love that he went for it. Um, I'm gonna stick to that. I think as someone who came into that organization looking just to change the way that they did things, and wanted just to be intense like that, no fear, like a lion. He he stayed true to who he was. And it this time it bit him in the butt, and he admitted it. He was, it he gambled and he lost, but he said he also wouldn't change the decisions that he made.
Right.
And that's what who the Lions were all year. Like
Right. Yeah.
they lived and died by them taking chances like that. And a lot of the times it worked
It
out, and
worked.
there were sometimes
Yeah.
they lost. But I'm not going to fault him for leaning on something that got them there. I'm not. Like, hindsight's 2020. Like, if Reynolds catches that, and you never know. Like, Badgley could have missed one of those 47-yard field goals that he decided to go for it. Like,
Right.
Badgley's not a big time kicker, and then he would have gotten and say, "Why didn't you go for it?" Like, it's 4th and 3. You've been going for it. That's who Dan Campbell is,
Right.
and that's why I like him. It's because he's a man of character, integrity, and he's just going to go do what he believes is right for his team. So I have no problem with it. Obviously, as a Niner fan, you're like, oh, because you won. No, it's because that's who they are, and that's who he is, and that's who the Lions are as a team and their identity. So I'm okay with it.
I think I agree with you in the sense that that is what they've done. That is who they've been. That is what they've done. My biggest thing with it is I think this is more than him getting it wrong, more than focusing on the past, because the way the Niners were playing, I think they find a way to win that game regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
But listen, Dan Campbell, this is a growing experience for him. Okay.
Good.
In the regular season, go for it, dude. Be raw, go be that dude, right? Keep that dog in you, keep that fight in you. That's why people didn't want to play the Lions this year. That's why the Lions, for the first time ever, were able to host a playoff game. Like, I agree with all these things, all the things that you just said, including losing a heartbreaker against the Cowboys, where he kept going for it. It's like, bro, at some point, just kick the field goal. Let's go to overtime. My goodness. But at some point, you've got to learn that lesson, right? We've all heard that famous quote: the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. They lose a big game against the Dallas because he refuses to just kick the field goal. He refuses to do it. I'm not saying that they make a field goal. I'm not saying they miss a field goal. I'm not trying to emphasize this game or this decision. All I'm trying to say is I think moving forward, this is an opportunity for Dan Campbell to say, you know what? Maybe next year I take the points in the playoffs, specifically the playoffs, because as you and I have said it all year, Big Z, we're big fans of taking the points. Take the points, because you never know what's going to happen. And so many teams lose by 3 or they lose by 1 because they just decided to listen to the stupid metric that says, if you go for 2 right now, you could potentially win the game and instead of just taking 7 points. Like,
no matter who's in, like, you and I could be in and tell us to go for it.
Right. It's just dumb. Take the points. So I think more than anything, not looking back at this game, because again, I think Brock Purdy, the way he was balling, what he was doing, they didn't have a spy plan for this game when Brock Purdy started rolling out. It was clear they didn't know what to do with this kid as he started running around. I just remember this. George Kittle, if you didn't see that interview, is hilarious. He's like, you know what Brock Purdy's running is like? It's like that little lizard that runs on water. Like, it's not super fast, but it's just quick. It's like, dude, what are you saying right now? But anyways,
so funny.
So again,
I think
you have to learn from it. You learn from it.
Learn and grow and like be willing to, like, I'm sure that him and management have had conversations about that already.
Right.
Like, I'm sure, and I'm sure he's kicking himself in the butt for that. But it could be like he's just shielding his kicker. Like, maybe he doesn't have faith in his kicker. And that's what I'm saying. Michael Badgley, and no offense to Michael Badgley, like, being a field goal kicker is super hard. I know people hate on kickers, but that is one of the toughest jobs in the NFL, especially in those moments.
Because you literally have one job.
Exactly.
You literally got one job.
On you. Like, you got to tie. You got to get the 3 points. Michael Badgley has proven time and time again on the Chargers, especially, that he cannot make the big kick. And so this could be Dan Campbell just shielding him and trying to cover for him as well. Like, you don't know.
Right.
But next year we'll see if they get back to the playoffs and he decides that maybe he changes his ways a little bit. But overall, I think he stayed true to who he was. But like you said,
100%.
If he learns from it, grows from it,
and if you're not going to learn that,
a little bit, tweaks it.
And if you're not going to learn that lesson, then learn the lesson of getting on that mic saying, okay, we're going for it. And this ball better be to Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta. You got two reads.
Or Gibbs.
Those are your two reads, or
Gibbs.
Gibbs, or get it to Gibbs.
Or
It's either going to
Jameson
Monty,
Williams.
it's either going to Monty, Gibbs, Laporta, or St. Brown. These are the four guys I want with my season on the line. These are your dogs. The play is going to one of these dudes, not Josh Reynolds. Sorry, Josh. Love you, dog. You were great as a Ram, but you are not Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like it's just, it is what it is, dog. It is what it is. Moving right along. We're not going to preview the game for the Super Bowl because, as most of you know, next week,
we got the Pro Bowl this week, baby.
We got the Pro Bowl this week. Flag football. I'm not taking a horse. I don't. They don't play. They don't play, and I don't watch it.
You know,
half the time.
It is better that it's flag football than them being in their pads and just not trying to tackle each other. Like I hated that. Like as a kid, I love the only All-Star game I watch now is the MLB All-Star game because they try. But even as a child, when I was 10 years old, I was like, what are they doing in the Pro Bowl? I was like, they're not even trying. I turn it off as a child. Like, and that sports was like everything when you were a kid.
Right.
So, I mean, flag football is cool. The skills competition. It's fun. Like, I like that they've changed things up.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'll tune in a little bit if there's nothing else to do on Sunday afternoon, but I don't know. We'll see.
I like the skill stuff more.
That's cool.
I think baseball should learn actually from that skill stuff. We talked about this before. I think baseball should have skill events. Like we could see how fast these guys are. Like run around the bases as fast as you can. Like let's time you from home to first. Let's time you from home to home. Let's like those kinds of skill. I think it'd be fun. Or like just seeing how far somebody can huck the ball.
Right.
Like that'd be fun for people. Like he's like with the football. These quarterbacks are talking about like, oh yeah, I threw the ball like 100 yards. Like oh, that's crazy.
Manfred,
like baseball.
You hear Manfred?
Yeah, Manfred. Come on, dude.
Come on,
I want to watch stinking, Manny Machado or, I don't name that player, probably Nolan Arenado throw the ball like 400 feet for no reason. Like I just want to see him do it. Cody
from the outfield.
Cody from the outfield on a line.
Someone just hitting or like having like a pitching machine, just huck the ball out and just having like the center fielder, like,
who can catch it from the furthest distance
style catch. Yeah. Like,
and you get style points.
Best
and you get style points. Let's go.
Yes. Like that'd be sick.
MLB, you start paying us anytime. Anytime, MLB.
We're ready. We're right here. Well, we'll be your full-time podcast. Don't worry.
Before we leave the NFL, we do have to say, Kadarius Toney is going live. And the Chiefs don't really know what to do with this, Big Z. I mean, what do you do? There's like multiple reports. Well, he's having a kid, or whatever it is. Like, and then I don't know if you saw all the AI videos coming out where like Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid just absolutely decking him. And it's like, did they actually say this? It's like, no, it's AI.
It's freaking AI, man. I don't know. Reid said that he'd be with the team on Thursday practicing. So because earlier in the week I heard that they should cut him, just get this guy out of town, but out of Dodge. But I don't think that's who Andy Reid is. Like I feel like he's a guy that's going to give his guys multiple chances. I'd bring him back this week, see how he does in practice, like see where he is in his head. If he's still doing stuff like that and he just seems to be off, like
a distraction,
maybe you don't come with us Super Bowl. We'll just cut you because you're just going to go on Instagram Live and just complain about it. But I would give him a chance. Like, this is what this is their dream, like to play in the Super Bowl, right? Like this is what they've worked their whole lives for. And so I give him a couple of days in practice to see how he is. I'm just very, empathetic to people. So I'd give him that third and fourth chance. But, after that, if you're still a little kooky, then you got
I mean, going on live is wild to me. When all the drops you've had, the season you've had, the Chiefs are rolling.
And Andy Reid's like,
here's my hesitancy.
This is a real injury.
I agree with you. I agree with you in terms, like, I agree with you most of the time on this. For me, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm not changing a thing. I'm not letting anybody come back. Unless they've like started the playoff run with us and like had part of this vibe that we're currently doing. Right. Like I'm not taking part in it. Because what the Chiefs have going on right now is magic. Guys are playing outside. I mean, Scantling, when was the last time we saw him catch the ball like this? So for me, I'm not letting anybody jump in that. Like, don't ruin our mojo. Don't ruin our magic. Don't be a distraction. So for me, I'm telling Kadarius, look, you can either shut up and stay off alive, and we can keep telling everybody you're injured so you can find a new home next year, or we can cut you and call you out for this, for being obviously what we're seeing right now, possibly, if the rumors are true that he's not injured and the season he's had. So, That's where I stand with that. But I get it. Listen, we got to say before we're not just gonna wrap up yet. Okay, we're almost there. Just keep listening.
Okay.
Keep checking this out. We're almost done. Okay, but we got to
Keep
say
listening,
it.
guys.
We got to say it. Luka dropped 73,
Wow.
so he's balling, right?
What a
NBA,
freaking week last
yeah.
week. You had Embiid get 70, Luka do 73, Cat had 63, and Booker had 62 the same night that Luka had 73.
So is the defense in the NBA just trash?
Well, there's no defense. That's the problem.
Jason the Showman Stroman, by the way, is somewhere just screaming, listening to his phone. Like, no, it's not that. Because I don't know if you heard JJ Riddick. Like, he talked about this a while ago. Like, people were talking about, like, well, the defense is so soft. And he's like, no, that tells me you don't know about basketball because the schemes are just so much more intense. I'm like, okay, JJ, like, to some point, like, I get it. But when you have a week in which dudes are scoring, everybody's scoring over 60, like, stop it.
Yeah,
like, there's no defense.
If this happened in the 90s or the early 2000s, that would be something like incredible. And I'm not saying that scoring 73 points in a game is not incredible because it's definitely something to marvel at. But it just the impact of it nowadays, it's just not the same as it would have been. Like when Kobe got 81, like that was with hand checking. Like Jalen Rose was literally holding on to his jersey the whole time, and Kobe was able to score 81. Like he's being double teamed and triple teamed. When Shaq was scoring 62 in 2000 against the Clippers, like he was quadruple teamed. People were freaking holding him down. He was dunking, going through them and dunking over them. Like when Michael, like you name it, right? The list goes on. Like that is impactful. Like those guys went through hell every time they had the ball because they were able, the defense was able to actually touch them. Nowadays, you flick someone, it's a foul. Wow. You're taking 3 shots because you were taking a 3-point shot. And so that's the problem that I have at the NBA. You can argue with me about that all day. I'll defend that today's NBA is not nearly as competitive and not nearly as entertaining as it used to be. That's just 100%. My take on it. But congratulations to them, on their awesome feat. For Embiid to do that, it's pretty impressive since he's a center.
Well, and I also think, but I also say,
Luka, sorry.
Like when I see like a guy like Patrick Beverly, with like Kevin Durant went off for like 50 or something like that, and they interviewed after, and they're like, Patrick, like, what do you guys think you could have done differently to stop like Kevin Durant? And he's like, he asked a reporter, like, all offended, like, well, what would you have done? Like, I'm being serious. Like, we didn't want him to. We tried. Dude, he put down 50 on you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the effort on some level is not there from either the coaching staff or yourselves. Like, once he gets there, you got to start doing something. You know what I mean? You got to figure something out. Like, you can't be offended when a reporter asks you, like, 50. Like, triple team him. Like, make somebody else win. Put your center by the paint and be like, here, you stop as many people as you can, and you 3 go out and cover that guy. You run on the other side. We're going to play a zone / 2 guys off the ball. Like, you do something.
Yeah, to Patrick Beverly's defense, which is crazy to me that I can't believe I'm defending him.
Oh, wow, like, look at this.
Once you touch someone, it's a foul. Like, you really cannot do anything.
Yeah.
Like, the Lakers literally gave up 130 points in 4 straight games this last week. 130 points. That's insane. Like, there's no defense being played. It's like, that is lack of effort. But Patrick Beverly is one to, like, yeah, he's questionable on offense for sure, but he's going to give you his effort on defense. Like 110% every single time. But when he licks a guy, it will be a foul. And if he slaps a guy on the hand or the arm, it'll be a flagrant one. Like, that's where we're at in today's NBA.
NBA, if you're listening to this, for me personally, I don't like 131 to 121 point games. And that's all I've seen. Everybody scores over 100 points. I remember when I was growing up, it was like first person to 100 points won. Like, if you got to 100 points, you won the game. Like, it was done. Like, you got to I understand whatever injuries, whatever. Personally, for me, I'm not watching as much anymore for that reason. I just think it's dumb. Everybody goes down. You either get fouled or you score. You either get fouled or you score, and the only way you miss is if you actually miss the shot. Because if somebody blocks you, it's a foul. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the way it's going. Sorry. That's just how I feel every time I turn it on. Sorry, not sorry. Sinner, Australian Open, Sinner, the boy wins. The youngest ever to do it since the Joker. Right? When he was a rookie, or not a rookie, but the last time, the next youngest guy was the Joker, wins the Australian Open. It's huge. Let me tell you something, Big Z. This is more crazy than people realize, okay?
Tell me.
This was the first final, okay, that was played without Federer, Nadal, the
Wow.
Joker, and there was one other guy, I think it was like Murray, since like Bush was in office. Like
Wow.
that's how long
That's
the
insane, man.
streak had gone.
That is crazy.
It's nuts. It's
That's
nuts.
it's good for him, man. That's huge. That's a feat. That
Oh yeah.
that just
Yeah.
shows you like how things are changing. Like this year, like Belichick's not a coach anymore. Carroll's not a coach. Saban retires. Like, and I remember Jason Showman texts us is like, yeah, boys, like growing up, we're getting older. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're right. Like this is the changing of the
Yeah.
guard. And like this again now in tennis, like it's happening, dude. So
Yeah, the big
soon the
four.
soon
I grew up with the
Tom
big
Brady
four.
retiring,
Yeah.
like it's just it's crazy, man. It is.
I grew up with the big four. I grew up with Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, and Murray. And it was always one of those guys. Like I went all the way back to I remember when Andy Roddick just could not get it done because Federer was just stealing his heart and soul every stink in Wimbledon. And Federer, I remember Roddick he made it to some ridiculous amount of finals and only won like one or two. But because Federer just kept winning. So, it really is a passing of the guard. I think the Joker will still be there. I think he still has, he still got some dog in him. Sinner's really one of the only guys that has actually had success against him. Alcaraz also lost, which was kind of crazy. He was supposed to be the next big up and comer. He lost the semis as well. So, that was fun for tennis. Good job, tennis. I do enjoy me watching some guys hit the ball 140 miles an hour. And before we end the episode, credit where credit is due. Big Z won the picks. I told you he was going to beat me. He beat me. There was no coming back.
No coming back, bro.
As soon as you picked the Chiefs, I thought for sure you were going to take the Ravens. And I was like, okay, we're going to go to the Super Bowl and I'm going to pick against him. But no, you took the Chiefs. I had to take the Ravens.
I did. I'm going to have to bet against Patty this next week. But sorry to spoil that, but I'm sure you all know that. But
no, don't tell the people. It's next week's episode, Big Z.
I just didn't think that Lamar had it in him. And I was right. You were wrong. But again, this is my first time that I've actually won the playoff picks because I know like in the past, you and I have done playoff picks in regular season. I'm always good in the regular season. I'm always like Dak, right? And then the playoffs come, that you show up. You're like Patty Mahomes, and I'm
Patty Mahomes,
and I'm like Dak.
This is my moment.
Yeah, and I failed, but this time
you crushed me.
I crushed you. I won. I found a way to win the game. I made the picks to win.
And you did it.
So we're gonna figure it out. And next week we're gonna figure out what we bet. We didn't actually make a bet, but we said we're gonna make a bet, and I just said it now. We're gonna figure out what you have to do as the loser for the picks.
We gotta do something. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
So stay tuned, YouTube.
Stay tuned. Maybe we go to sushi and we go live on YouTube and people can watch us just like be pigs. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyways, we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Everybody's listening, whoever you are, wherever you are. We appreciate you. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're Brevity Sports. Big Z, say bye to the people.
People, love you guys. Please make sure to go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It's going to really help us out a lot. Comment, and enjoy your week. We love you guys.
Enjoy your week. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. But most importantly, go subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on the YouTube. We love you.